Newcastle and Ginola faced Wimbledon, aiming to add to their 8 victories so far this season. Before the game, another accolade in this already memorable campaign for the club. Terry McDermott collecting the Manager of the Month award for September on behalf of Kevin Keegan. Ginola's genius was soon in evidence. His wing sorcery delighting another sellout crowd as Newcastle strove to extend their 100% home league record. Wimbledon, of course, are renowned party spoilers, and in typically resilient fashion they defended stoutly for half an hour, but then the floodgates opened as Newcastle romped into a convincing lead. First from Steve Howie on 32, the goal came from Keith Gillespie's cross. 4 minutes later, Les Ferdinand wrote his name into the Newcastle record books. His 11th league goal of the season from a classic centre by Ginola made it a record equalling 7 games in a row that he scored for his new club. Wimbledon were reeling now and were 3 down 4 minutes from half-time. Ferdinand touching again, once more the supply line from Gillespie. Wimbledon were thinking at half-time, no doubt, of mounting a damage limitation exercise. And any chance of that seemed to have faded when on 55 minutes they had their goalkeeper, Paul Heald, sent off for a second booking. He'd been cautioned earlier for time wasting. Now it was the offence of bringing down Ferdinand that incurred the wrath of referee Graham Pole. Without a substitute goalkeeper on the bench, Wimbledon were in need of a willing volunteer and found one in the redoubtable Vinnie Jones. Amazingly, Jones defied Newcastle's attack with some stunning saves. This one from the irrepressible Ginola. He also defied the odds in keeping out the follow-up from Gillespie. Jones was milking the applause. Eventually he was beaten, though, first on the hour, a ferocious shot from Lee Clark. It gave him his first of the season, and Newcastle their 4th of this match. It seemed just a question now of how many Newcastle would score, but within a minute, a consolation goal for a Wimbledon side heading for a 5th consecutive league defeat. Marcus Gale was the scorer from a cross by substitute Steve Tallboys. Kevin Keegan's exhilarating side soon resumed command, though, with Ferdinand, helped by Robert Lee, completing his hat-trick in the space of 28 minutes, despite another valiant attack by Jones to defy him. With the game obviously well won, Newcastle brought on their Belgian international Philippe Albert for his first Premier League appearance since Boxing Day, and he responded by scoring goal number 6. Newcastle rounding off another highly entertaining afternoon at St James's Park. Winners by 6 goals to 1. Heady stuff and another day of majestic skill from the incomparable Ginola.
I put the brake.
Wozniak produced a stirring save from Ray Parler's blistering drive. Arsenal broke through early in the second half, and it was rough justice for Wozniak, whose earlier brilliance was wiped out by his failure to hold a cross from Glenn Helder, allowing Paul Merson to collect his second gifted goal in successive games. That ended Arsenal's anxiety, and they made sure of their 7th win in 8 matches with a second goal 12 minutes from time, Ian Wright's 11th of the season. For Villa, this was more capital punishment after last week's home defeat by Chelsea. Makes way at Middlesbrough for Juninho. Not me, Craig Hignett is bleeding, and after a quarter of an hour against QPR, he underlined his case for continued inclusion by demonstrating his proficiency from the penalty spot. Middlesbrough awarded the kick, but Nick Barmby was fouled by Steve Yates. Hignett, tipped to lose his place to Juninho, converted confidently by sending Jurgen Sommer in the wrong direction. 2 minutes into the second half, Borough squandered the opportunity to extend their lead after they'd earned another penalty. This time, referee Reid was pointing to the spot for Carl Reddy's challenge on the effervescent Barmby. Instead of Hignett taking the kick, though, up stepped Jan Fjortoft, and his effort came back off the bar for Sommer to grasp the rebound. Rangers were spurred on now and nearly equalised. Trevor Sinclair hit the bar. Danny Dicchio wasted the chance, though, to add to his recent tally of 4 goals in 7 Premier League outings. Hignett's penalty decided it. Borough have now gone 9 matches without defeat. With 8 successive league defeats behind them, Manchester City were hoping that Leeds would be in generous defensive mood again after their 5-3 home defeat in Europe by PSV Eindhoven. Leeds were keen to put that setback behind them, though. That was Carlton Palmer having his shot well saved by German international Eike Immel. City haven't scored at home since the opening day, and this was to be another frustrating afternoon for them. The faces they came, now Quinn's header forced away by John Pemberton. No goals at Main Road. Forest are the only team yet to be beaten in any of the 4 English divisions this season, but their hopes of equalling a Premier League record of 23 matches undefeated were hit midway through the first half at the City ground. Dutchman Richard Snakers with a deflected shot to give Bolton the lead. 5 minutes later, though, Forest were level. Another Holland star, Brian Roy, left out of the UEFA Cup win in Auxerre, turned in across from Ian Woad. The handiwork of Bolton goalkeeper Keith Brannigan helped his team resist Forest until the 68th minute. That's when Steve Stone's persistence produced a goal for Jason Lee. Bolton stuck to their task well, though, and looked to have snatched a draw when substitute Fabian de Freitas capitalised on a dreadful blunder by Mark Crossley to make it 2-2. But Forest strove gainfully for a winner, and they were finally rewarded just a minute from time. Colin Cooper with a firm header from across by fellow defender Des Little. A new record then of unbeaten matches for Forest, surpassing Manchester United's run of 22. For Forest now, that's 3 wins in a row to leave their manager Frank Clark in celebratory mood.
It's been an excellent week if you take the Spurs result as well from last Saturday. Great testimony to the players and their character and commitment.
Julian Dix was in the West Ham side despite still smarting over his controversial 3-match ban handed out by the FA after that incident in the recent match with Chelsea. Dix played his part in the opening goal, scored on 25 minutes by Ian Dowie. His first since his return for a second spell at Upton Park came via a fine cross from Ian Bishop. Blackburn's threat was mainly contained by West Ham's 3 central defenders, but there were chances for the champions. This was Ludek McCloskey depriving Alan Shearer of a certain goal. The Rovers struggled to exert any real authority, and on 64 minutes, beleaguered manager Ray Harford sent on his new signing Billy McKinley, hoping his arrival might pep up his team's attacking ideas. West Ham, though, seemed to be heading for a deserved win. But then, just a minute from time, a Rovers equaliser. Lars Bohinen's cross, headed in by who else? Alan Shearer, since they began the defence of their title. This was a meeting of 2 teams struggling to steer clear of the relegation area, and it was Sheffield Wednesday who delivered the game's most decisive moment on 17 minutes. Mark Bright's inventive work paving the way for Guy Whittingham's first goal of the season. Zimbabwe international Peter Unlove was a constant threat to Wednesday, but also a major culprit in profligate finishing. This was one of several chances that came his and Coventry's way. 1 goal settled it then, Wednesday's first win at Coventry for 5 years. Andrei Kanchelskis is back in Everton's team after injury, and it was his cross that set up the opening goal at Goodison Park on 13 minutes. A superb header by Graham Stewart, who was making the most of his chance up front in the absence of Daniel Amokachi and Duncan Ferguson. But on 37 minutes, a Spurs equaliser, and the moment that Chris Armstrong had been praying for, his first league goal for Spurs since his summer move from Crystal Palace, and it was well worth waiting for. It was a game of several chances, and Spurs generally had the best of them. Rule Fox, in his second outing for his new club, laid this one on for substitute Jason Dozell. And then right at the end, Teddy Sheringham was left holding his head in disbelief after sending his header wide of the post from a cross by Ronnie Rosenthal. 1-1 at Goodison Park. Everton stay in the basement area. Spurs are still unbeaten away from home.
Luxury cars are known
on a Liverpool side lurking menacingly just behind the league leaders. Stopping Liverpool means stopping Robbie Fowler, whose dynamic finishing is keeping Stan Collymore, Britain's most expensive player, out of the team.